Tonight, I don't know what time you're watching this, but I'd like to say that I finally got my hands on the Tamron 17 to 70mm f 2.8. All thanks to a good pal, Dan Carandang. He's one of the first, if not the very first, to have one here in the Philippines. Can I already say that this video is sponsored? No, not yet. Okay. Thank you, brother, for making this video possible. Give him a follow. I'd link his socials down in the description box. Anyway, I can't wait to share my thoughts about this lens, so let's roll that intro. Before I start, I'd like to officially welcome you to my channel. Thank you for making it past the intro. If you're into cameras, gadgets, technologies, all that good stuff, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell if you haven't yet. In that case, you won't miss out on anything from this channel. That being said, let's dive right into the topic. Prior holding one, I personally thought that this lens is heavy and built for wars. But man, it's not. I mean, yes, it's built like a tank, but Tamron was also telling the truth when they said that this lens is extremely lightweight. I was really surprised the first time I held it. Of course, it's heavier than my other lenses, the Sigma 30mm, Sony 18-105, and the Viltrox 85mm. However, considering the specs, the size, and everything, this lens is relatively compact and portable. So if ever you're thinking if you can do handheld vlogging with this lens, yes. Is the autofocus on this lens good enough? The answer is no. It's actually more than good enough. You like that? I got you. The autofocus of this lens is impressive. Even in low light, I could rely on the autofocus of this lens. I just don't have the usual test footage, but get this. I didn't have to switch to manual focus the entire time I was using this lens. It was that good. So, considering that this isn't a native lens, again, more than good enough. For the image sharpness, with all the reviews out there about this lens, I would assume that all of us are in agreement that this lens is sharp. However, the rising issue is, how about the sharpness at 70mm? Is it really soft? Well, based on my experience, it is not as sharp as it is at shorter focal lengths. But should it be a defining moment for this lens? Definitely not. In fact, it really is okay. I mean, yes, it's not that good, but it isn't that bad either. With a good amount of effort in post, really, no complaints about the image sharpness of this lens. Now, talking about the focal range of this lens, 17 to 70mm. If you have an 18-105, there are pros and cons switching to this lens, just in case you're planning to. You don't get so much from that 17 to 18mm difference. As a matter of fact, I didn't notice a significant effect. Although both are useful for handheld vlogging, talking headshots, landscape, street photography, etc. However, the 70 to 105mm difference is without a doubt significantly noticeable. Somehow, I don't feel good about letting go of that extra reach, especially for someone like me who always craves for that decent amount of compression. I honestly prefer losing that millimeter difference in wide but still keeping that 35 additional reach in telephoto. But that's just me. What is VC? It's the vibration compensation. It's the Tamron's version of OSS, the optical steady shot. In short, it's the in-lens stabilizer. That's one of Tamron's latest revolutionary updates. And the 17 to 70 has it. In most of the reviews I watched, the VC is one of the reasons why people are choosing the 17 to 70 over the Sony's 16 to 55mm. Because if you're doing a lot of video work and your camera has no IBIS like the Sony a6400 and you don't have a gimbal yet as well, the in-lens stabilizer is almost a requirement. Thus, the 17 to 70 is wildly anticipated this year. Now, for my thoughts about it, it is awesome. As simple as that. It's like using an 18 to 105. For me, the OSS in the 18 to 105 is really good and has its reputation already. And I like that the 17 to 70 is comparable to that native lens. Like, it gives me a lot of confidence shooting videos handheld. Good job, Tamron. Lastly, the generous f2.8 aperture. Two questions come to mind right away. How then does it perform in low light, and how about the bokeh? For the low light performance, of course you don't want to compare this with any of the Sigma Trio, but comparing it to another zoom lens such as the 18-105, the Tamron is absolutely the winner on this one. I intentionally tested it out at night to see how it performs, and I was really impressed that I didn't struggle so much the entire time. I also didn't compromise the ISO that much as well. Unlike with the 18-105, I sometimes need to go as high as 2000 or 2500 just to get a decent footage, which shows a lot of grains already, and nobody likes that. For the bokeh, obviously 2.8 will give a creamier, blurry background than 4. The depth of field the 2.8 gives is worth every dime. Even at 17mm, the bokeh I get from the Tamron is super satisfying. So for both photography and videography, this lens is amazing. However, I just can't discount the compression I get from longer focal range. That has something to do with bokeh as well. How I wish Tamron made it 17-105 f2.8. There you go, folks. While there are more other things I like about this lens, such as it's moisture resistant, it has a minimum distance focusing of 19cm, great image colors, etc. I just chose top practical things I think you should know about if you are planning to buy this lens. Finally, I have the Sony 18-105, and I'm thinking if I can replace that with the Tamron 17-70. Is it worth it? I have been asking myself the same recently. And now that I was able to use both, I'd say that by all means, yes, this is indeed worth the upgrade. In fact, after using it, I personally believe that if I could only have one lens, this Tamron lens is it. Nevertheless, I'd like to know your thoughts as well. Let me know in the comment section. As I end, please do watch my other videos, link in the description box below. Once again, if you're getting a thing or two from this video, please do like and subscribe to my channel for more not super technical, but rather practical approach to gadgets and technologies. Until then, thank you for watching.